Does
No,
dating help you learn a language,
no,
or
I don't know where
do
you want to
you
go with this.
do languages help get dates?
So you're asking me, do I pick up girls to learn and improve my languages, or do girls help me improve languages?
You can pick up the question as you want.
Um, I think it works in both directions. I think that knowing a language helps you get to know girls, get into romantic relationships, and romantic relationships will help improve your languages. I can give you a couple of examples. Um, when I got to know my my Polish ex girlfriend, I sat down. It was a date in Krakow. I was very nervous because I had a B1 level, B1 ish level. Let's put it this way, um, and my Polish skills were not good enough for me to hold an entire conversation for 9 hours. That is exactly what happened, right? For 9 hours, I had to make do, as they say, and I had to speak Polish. And I remember that when I sat down, I said, "Hey, let's speak English. It's easy. It's the easiest way, right?" But she would not have it, and she did not want to speak English because she herself felt very nervous about using English. She did not feel confident.
Okay.
So that forced me to speak Polish. Now, why am I telling you all this? It's because that was a pivotal moment in our relationship. Because once a relationship starts in a language, and normally, if it starts in English, which is normally the vernacular language that we tend to use in
Yeah.
to
Like a bridge
communicate,
language when you
bridge
are. Yeah.
language,
Yeah.
exactly. Then the relationship will be built upon English, and then you will not improve, your target language, even if you have a girlfriend that speaks that language. So I think that there's always value in learning languages because a language open a lot of doors, a lot of possibilities. So the fact that I have been learning all these languages and I get to a level where I can communicate really helped finding girlfriends and getting into romantic relationships. And then I made sure that I was using the language with her because she not because I imposed that, not because I wanted to use girlfriends to learn languages, but just because it naturally happened. I already had
This
a
is a
decent level.
consequence of the learning process, I guess.
Yes, but I know a lot of couples that in which the bridge language or communication language is always English because one did not speak the language well enough or did not want to learn it.
Because you're having very complicated discussions, and because it's very intimate, so you have to make sure both people understand what's meant. So,
For
right.
sure, for sure. But I
Yeah.
think that on the one hand, the fact that you already know a language, you already taken the time and the energy to reach a level where you can communicate is really important. Is your own effort, is your own merit. But then, of course, when you get into a relationship and you get to use the language every day, it skyrockets your language skills because you get to use the language, you get to, live the language in every situation. You get to know the parents, you get to know the friends. You go to the country, you spend more time with native speakers. It changes everything. This happened in a number of languages, and there's a before and there's an after always. When I got into a relationship, then I could use the language every day for meaningful purposes, and that, of course, has been the catalyst for huge language improvement across a few languages.
And any advice for any people who are couples that have different languages but communicate in English, and they wanna switch to the other language, but they find it hard to switch or to learn it? What would you suggest?
My simple advice is, and this is general relationship advice, is to get very clear about what you want and communicate well. So there are some unwritten rules or things that nobody talks about, the elephant in the room. But if one, for example, says, "Hey, I really want to learn, say, Russian. I'm with a Russian girl, and my Russian girl is not that happy for me to speak Russian because she doesn't have any patience." So you just clearly tell her, "Look, could we just start speaking for 5 minutes a day? I really want to learn Russian." So you make it clear that you want to learn her
It's
language.
just 5 minutes.
You
And
can start with
okay,
5 minutes a day,
okay,
and then you can move on to 10, 15, 20. Because if
okay.
you start from nothing, just to speak from speaking English to suddenly speaking her language, it's gonna sound and look weird to her. Because both of you got into this dynamic where you use just one language,
Yeah,
English.
yeah. I think a
Not
lot of
only
people I know are like some of my friends, even like they have different their own native languages, but they communicate in English.
Yeah,
And
of course.
so I think
Because
it's a very current, a very common situation for many people.
It's a very common situation. So I would say be very clear upfront about the fact that you want to improve or you want to learn your partner's language, and then just start, slowly,
Incrementally,
incrementally, maybe a very short conversation at breakfast, and you just jot down some words, and then from there, you start improving. And of course, in parallel, you can also listen to podcasts and watch videos, because remember, it's not just speaking. It's mostly about input. So you have to put in the work yourself, and then you can surprise your partner one day by speaking fluently, because you're putting in so much work. Then you start talking to them for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and sooner rather than later, you're going to be speaking the language of your partner.
And you're going to surprise partners, family, and friends when you're going to eventually meet them.
Yeah, it comes with a bonus. Then all of a sudden, ta-da! I speak the language fluently. People are going to go like, "Wow."